Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green. You're watching AMTV, Alternative Media Television. It is approximately 12:36 on Friday, Arizona time, August 11th, and another very important update, questionably probably the biggest update I've ever given. And I know I always say that in the history of this channel, AMTV, Alternative Media Television. I encourage you to watch my last video on North Korea if you haven't already. I give about a 20-minute breakdown, ask a lot of questions you're not hearing from any mainstream pundit on the planet, and I think I asked some very important questions and also raise a lot of concerns. Again, what's in it for Kim Jong-un to do anything to the United States of America? How is it they've gone from not having the technology to nuke the United States of America to now all of a sudden they've got it and they can hit every major U.S. city in the country and potentially wipe out millions of people? So the title of today's video is War Has Just Begun. Took notes again. First thing you need to know, number one, is Trump is not vacationing at his golf course in New Jersey. It's not a vacation. It's not leisure time. He's not golfing and working on his putting game out on the greens. He's in a bunker. Let that sink in. They're preparing for war, as is the title again of this video, War Has Just Begun. So Trump's in a bunker. He's in a war room. And something is about to happen very, very soon. Isn't it interesting that Google is censoring content right at the same time before the outbreak of war? Cuts 95% of funding, not just our funding here at AMTV, but every other alternative, independent media personality, pundit, news outlet that you've grown to love. 100% of the funding is now gone. Interesting that they're censoring controversial videos and dissent right before the outbreak of war. Or maybe it's not interesting at all. Again, I met with Eric Schmidt, I think it was a little over a month ago, probably longer than that. It's amazing how time flies. And he basically told me that, well, he kind of pushed the blame away from Google. He said it was, I don't want to put words into his mouth. Again, this is my opinion. I have to say that legally. And again, you can look at my Twitter feed to see that I actually met with him. He's worth over $12 billion. He basically said that this was all about government power. It wasn't necessarily Google, it was about government power. Controlling the people, controlling the masses, controlling the propaganda, control the sheep, control the Kool-Aid drinkers. So, isn't it interesting Google is censoring content and is all of a sudden cut pretty much 100% of all funding, which is another separate video in and of itself. Trump tweeted today, military solutions are now fully in place, locked and loaded should North Korea act unwisely. Oh, that's nice. Giving us a John Wayne reference there, Trump. Notice how his body language, too, is very interesting. He has arms crossed when he made the comment a couple of days ago about fire and fury and, frankly, power. Notice how he had his arms crossed? Some of you noticed that as well. But basically, that body language, in my opinion, shows well, physically, he's closed off. He's feeling defensive and, in my opinion, insecure about what's ahead because he knows what's ahead. Just like FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, knew about Pearl Harbor before it actually hit. They need a false flag, folks. They need millions of people to die to justify the new war, the new world war. Trump says military solutions are now fully in place, locked and loaded, should North Korea act unwisely. Guam Post warning, do not look at the flash or fireball because it can blind you. Take cover behind anything that might offer protection. Get low to the ground. Again, people have accused me of fear-mongering for years. Now, leadership in Guam is telling you not to look at the fireball. Trump's saying he's locked and loaded. Chicago's issuing warnings about a nuclear attack. Hawaii's issuing warnings. Alaska's issuing warnings. Interesting how that works. I was called a fearmonger. Now it's just every major state, city, U.S. territory telling you what to do in the event of a nuclear holocaust. Let that sink in. So Guam warns, they say again, do not look at the flash. It can blind you. Take cover behind anything that might offer protection. Russia warns risk of war is very high. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said that risks of conflict between the U.S. and North Korea turning into a full-fledged war are high. This would involve a huge number of victims. We're talking millions of people dead. You know, at the very least, let's say Trump preemptively striked North Korea. Kim Jong-un would hit South Korea, and in just general warfare scenario, this is what the U.S. generals are saying, we're talking millions of civilian casualties dead. Overnight, just like Syria, but again, we warned about that too. The risks are very high, especially regarding the rhetoric between the two countries, he says. We hear direct threats to use force. At the same time, U.S. Secretary of Defense Mattis stated once again, yes, this will involve a huge number of human casualties, and yet talks about a preemptive strike on North Korea, talks in Pyongyang, that is unnecessary to strike the island of Guam, where several U.S. military bases are located. Do not stop, he said. That's pretty much the update. There is some advice on what to do when the blasts hit. Let me see if I can find some of that. This is the statement issued by Chicago to its millions of inhabitants. What one should do in the event of a nuclear attack. Not long ago, this was considered conspiracy theory. Now it's just reality. They say if you're near the blast, turn away and close and cover your eyes to prevent damage to your sight. Drop to the ground face down and place your hands under your body. Remain flat until the heat and 2 shock waves have passed. If you're outside, find something to cover your mouth and nose, such as a scarf, handkerchief, or other cloth. Remove any dust from your clothes by brushing, shaking, and wiping in a ventilated area. However, cover your mouth and nose while you do this. Move to a shelter, basement, or other underground area, preferably located away from the direction that the wind is blowing. Remove clothing since it may be contaminated. If possible, take a shower, wash your hair, and change clothes before you enter the shelter. It's important to know, that you can use shampoo and soap vigorously but not conditioner, otherwise that'll seal the radioactive material to your hair and body. If you're already in a shelter or basement, if you're lucky enough to be prepared, cover your mouth and nose with a face mask or other material such as a scarf or handkerchief until you know what the fallout cloud has passed. Shut off ventilation systems like air conditioning and the other kind of systems, and seal doors or windows. After the fallout cloud has passed, unseal the doors and windows to allow some air circulation. Stay inside until authorities say it's safe to come out. Blah, 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 blah. Millions of people are going to be freaking killed. Depopulation. And again, it's like the roaring 20s right now. Even Matt Drudge said this. Stock market at an all-time high. Oh yeah. 5 tech giants dominating, monopolizing all of humanity. Jeff Bezos, Amazon, Elon Musk, the subsidy king of free money from the federal government, Oracle bailouts, Warren Buffett. Berkshire Hathaway pretty much owns everything. They're not one of the tech giants. He actually missed the old tech revolution. Google shutting down, censoring content, basically putting an end to alternative media, independent media, all before the outbreak of war. So get to your local speakeasy today. Start pounding back those beers and Jack Daniels or whatever it is you drink. Maybe it's Crown and Sprite, as one of these country songs say. And yeah, prepare for the inevitable. Just amazing. 10 years I've been doing this, and it's gone from complete crackpot conspiracy theory to reality, because they must reset the economic financial time bomb. They must depopulate. They need a false flag. Donald Trump, through his body language, is telling us this. This is why he's closed off, because he knows what's coming. He's not golfing and he's not on vacation. He's in a freaking bunker. Where are you? What are you doing right now? Are you prepared? Do you have a bug out bag? Or do you have food? Do you have water? Do you have shelter? Do you have an emergency plan for your family? Hey, don't take it from me. Take it from Chicago. Take it from Hawaii, Alaska, leadership in Guam, warning that millions are about to die. Again, I'm not trying to be intense or facetious or anything like that. It's just, it's so overwhelming and it pains me so much. And it hurts in my heart so much what I know is coming. I just wish people could see it. I've done everything that I can in the last 10 years, everything. I've risked my life to do this, and sometimes I just feel it's all for nothing. I've even developed products to help people deal with it. And people don't care. I'm not talking to you people tuning in, our loyal supporters, but people literally won't wake up until the blast hits.